Okay, so there's a couple things I'd like to get into, again, if I may, like chapter 1, talking about stuff. And again, this is stuff I've been talking about for years, but it's fundamental, it's sort of what I need to be learning. It's what I think is important to share. And again, the trick is try to make it as simple as possible. If you're the teacher, try to make it as simple as possible, just so that in your own mind, you don't get confused about what you're talking about. Just keep the simple clarity about what the theme is. You can then extrapolate around it and get more complex and spin around it, but just keep the simple thought in mind. And it's not so easy to get clear on what the simple fundamental thoughts are. But this is one of them. Okay? You should know this. Yoga essentially is the inquiry into truth. Just sort of like know that. That's what yoga is. It's the inquiry into truth. What the fuck is going on? You find yourself here somehow. Next thing you know, you got to pee. Next thing you know, you're hungry. Next thing you know, you're sleepy. Next thing you know, you got to pee again. Next thing you know, you're hungry. Next thing you know, you're sleepy. The next thing you know, you're just on the wheel. You're on the trail. You're in the middle of our life. And it's like, whoa, what's going on? How did I get here? And that's sort of the beginning. What's going on? What is the truth here really? And so as a practice, with the understanding that yoga is the inquiry into the truth of the predicament that we find ourselves in, the question that I would vote that you walk around with the most, sort of like the practice that you do the most, this is called practicing the holy instant. Whenever it occurs to you, just sort of pause. Just do a conscious pause where you're deliberately pausing. And I'm saying do it when it occurs to you. I could say do it many times in a day, and you will end up doing it many times in a day. Do it a lot. Like do this a lot, 10,000 times a day. But the way to do it 10,000 times a day is do it when it occurs to you. When it occurs to you to do this, don't think, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do that later when I've got a better moment. When it occurs to you, that's the universe tapping you on the shoulder. Dude, practice the holy instant right now in the moment that you're in. In the freeway, in the lunch line, wherever you happen to be. Do it right now. The practice is be willing to do it when it occurs to you. When the universe is tapping you on the shoulder, just be willing. Okay, now's the time. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Now's the time to do it. And what you do is you pause consciously, just exhale and relax. You be attentive to where you are. And then you say, what is the truth here really? And then just sort of silent-mind it for a few moments. Just put a comma in your commentary for a few moments. If it occurs to you to do it again 5 seconds later, don't say, well, I just did it 5 seconds ago. Just do it again. It's not hard. Just exhale and relax. What is the truth here really? Again, it's the inquiry into truth. What is the truth here really? The insight on all of this is that we're in the middle of ultimate reality already. There's no place else you could be. You're not in a fake world on the way to some better world. You're not in a temporary world. You're not actually in the middle of a lifetime. You're in the middle of the eternal new now, thinking that you're in a temporary world on the way to somewhere better in the middle of a short lifetime, and I'll be dead soon. Who cares? Why do all this stuff? Practice the holy instant. Exhale and relax. Have the insight that you're in the middle of ultimate reality and wonder, well, what is the truth here really? If I'm in the middle of ultimate reality, it's probably a different scenario than the one you've been operating with. And the basic one that most of us are operating with is that we're in the middle of a lifetime, we're growing old, aging, dying, it's going to be over soon, who cares? My whole thing was, I can't wait to get out of here. I just want to get enlightened and get out of here. This is obviously not the kingdom of heaven. This is not ultimate reality. This is like some weird planet filled with warring tribes. This isn't God's kingdom. But the insight that you get every once in a while, and it's sort of like you're out on a boat in a foggy sea, and suddenly you see the lighthouse flash, and you have a moment of clarity, and then it fogs over again. You're in foggy world again, but you had a moment of insight. You're in foggy world now, but you had a moment of insight. And it's sort of like you'll have moments of insight, and then it'll fog over again. And sort of like what you got to do is start trusting your insights about things. Like, be brave enough to start, I had an insight about truth. I know it looks sucky right now, but wow, I had an insight. I'm not in a temporary world on the way to somewhere better. I'm actually in the middle of the kingdom of heaven, actually. Heaven means harmony. You're in the middle of the kingdom or the context of harmony. Actually. But if you're operating with a deluded mindset, you're going to be bumping up against life and it's going to be hurting. And you'll think, well, what's so harmonious about this? But it makes perfect sense that if you're walking around with a stupid mindset that you're going to suffer. It helps you get out of your stupid mindset. Suffering works eventually. Suffering's a hard path. Part of the whole deal here is to obviate suffering by doing the practices more and beginning to realize, oh wow, I'm in the middle of ultimate reality with a deluded mindset. I don't really know what's going on. Therefore, don't believe yourself about what you think is going on. Put a comma in your commentary and wonder, well, what is the truth here really? And when you ask, what is the truth here really, you're yoking with the internet of infinite mind. You're joining. You're actually doing the yoke action of yoga. If you're willing, say, dear God, what is the truth here really? Because then you really yoke. If you're afraid or don't like the word God, just feel like you're asking the internet of mind. You're not asking your conditioning, you're reaching beyond your little knowing. What is the truth here really? What is the truth here really? What is the truth here really? Say it a lot. But say it a lot to where you realize, oh, you're asking the question, and then put the comma in there and just sort of listen. You don't want to just be walking around, what's the truth here really? What's the truth here really? Like a parrot. I mean, that's better, I guess, than operating on your conditioned thinking. at least by saying the sentence, it's sort of like preventing you from doing what you would normally do, so that's good. But say the sentence so that it reminds you to pause and just listen. Because remember, the nature of mind is to be attentive. The nature of your mind is to be attentive. And when you're thinking less, you'll find yourself knowing more. And again, that's one of the huge discoveries. And therefore, willingly, gladly, just sort of actively listen more and more and more. And it really helps to have a little practice like that. When it occurs to you, exhale and relax. Dear Jesus, what is the truth here really? Dear God, what is the truth here really? And then let the page be blank for a little while. If it occurs to you again, do it again. And more, because we're in the middle of the context of harmony, the kingdom of heaven, it'll start proving itself to you. Which means like little synchronicities will start to happen. Things that you couldn't have planned out in advance begin to like reconfigure, and like magical little circumstances happen. That happens so much. You just start trusting into it. And the more you trust into it, the more open you are to it happening again and again and again. Until increasingly your whole lifestyle is just sort of like listening and trusting and daring to do what you're being guided to do. But you got to find a way to get out of your obsessive, compulsive thinking about things. And part of it is realizing that you don't know right now. If you don't know, then don't believe yourself quite so much. Put a pause in your knowing and just wonder, well, what is the truth here really? Something's going on. Something's going on. You know, what's the truth here really? No, really. So that, and see what happens, see where it takes you. Do it 5,000 times a day. Do it when it occurs to you. And it will occur to you. And just like watch, and like, you know what I mean? I've been doing this for years, and still it's like, nah, I don't want to do it right now. You know, like really, it's just that I'll do it later. Yeah, I really like this practice. I'll do it later. Yeah, I'm a believer. Yeah, I'll do it later. But sort of, the insight is there's no such thing as later. There's no such thing as the future. You never quite get there. It's always the eternal new now. If you're ever going to do it, it'll be in the new now that you're in. Oh, okay. And it's not hard. Exhale and relax. What is the truth here really? You look at an iPhone. You look at a hair tie. You look at your watch. You look at a face. You look at a light. There's always something in your experience. What is the truth here really? Partly what it'll do, it'll start making you super aware of all the judgments and assessments you're making about everything you see. Just sort of immediate, quick, and fast. Habitual. And you think you're just reporting the news. No, you're just reaffirming your own limited mindset about things. What is the truth here really? What is the truth about this person in my experience? And again, the insight is that the all is being all. And therefore, no matter who you see, they are the son or daughter of the God force. Even an international terrorist, social deviant, nuisance, is a son or daughter of God. They don't know it. That's why they're acting like a boob. But if you get tricked by their behavior, you're going to confirm to them their boobness, or whatever the word is. You know what I mean? The trick is to look through the appearance to the reality that's got to be there. You look through the crummy behavior to the reality that's got to be there. There's got to be the son or daughter of God there first before there could be any crummy behavior. And so look for what the truest thing is there. And if you're willing to let go of your judgments and see what's really true there, they may resist you, but the deepest part of them will be in agreement with you. Everyone knows that at the deepest essence of who they are the one being the specific identity that they are. You know that, even though you argue with it. But when you get quiet and you get relaxed and you feel safe, and you're not in defense mode all the time, you begin to realize, oh yeah, duh, yeah, I knew that. How did I ever forget that? And then you forget it, you know what I mean? But then you remember it. And so it's a matter of like doing the practices so that you get grounded in it more and more and more. Do the meditation practice. Do the bed med. Did you do the bed med? Do the bed med. Do the asana practice because it helps erase tension out of your experience. And when there's less tension in your experience, you're going to have an increasingly tension-free experience of you. And tension-free is not nothing. Tension-free is like life force. And again, the insight is that it's light and it's love, and that's what you are really. Nah. Oh yeah. And then you'll get it again, then you go, nah. And then you'll have insight again, and then you'll go, nah. And you'll go, yeah and nah for lifetimes, probably. I feel like I've been doing this for lifetimes. You know, and gradually you just start to get it. Oh, no. The all is being all, and that's what you are. God is love. And therefore, so are you. See, that's the thing. When I first heard that God is love, it was like, well, cool. But what does that have to do with me? Was sort of the... Then increasingly, wow, it has everything to do with you. You didn't make you. You are the self-expression of God. If God is love, then therefore so are you. And therefore so is everybody else, whether they know it yet or not, whether they're acting like it yet or not. And as the yogis, part of the deal is like to begin to reinterpret everybody's crummy behavior and begin to start giving people more credit and to realize that everyone is a brother and a sister. Everyone's a brother or a sister because we all have the same parents. We're all sourced by the same source. You're a brother or sister with somebody when you have the same parents. We all have the same parent. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all cousins. We're all family. We're all children of the all, of God. And again, when I hear somebody else say God, I still wince most of the time. But I don't wince so much anymore when I say the word. And if someone's clear, like, I don't wince either. But you know what I mean? In some moments, you wouldn't say the word God. You'd say something else to where people could hear you without reacting against the God word. But the practice is the holy instant. You pause and then say the sentence. And then you be attentive to life live. You exhale and relax. You say, what is the truth here really? And then you pay attention to life live so that you just might start having a slightly different experience of what's in your experience. One thing that's likely to happen. This doesn't happen to me a lot, but it's happened enough to where I'm going for it. When you're willing to be in the new now with somebody and you just look at them without your usual thinking, because they are the self-expression of God, which is light and love, you can begin to see the glow around people more. And not just the glow around them, but like their actual presence looks more translucent and like an energy form, like a hologram almost. And just when that starts to happen, even just a little bit, it begins to like just tweak your mind about where you think you are. You're not in a physical universe, actually. You're actually in the middle of this spiritual universe and have been the whole time. And so it's not a matter of changing things in order to make it into a spiritual universe, or I can't wait until I get out of here so I can go to the spiritual universe. No, you're in the middle of it, have been in the middle of it. There's nothing else going on. We're in the middle of ultimate reality. Clouded over to it. And the cloud is thinking. And so in easy words, you learn to think less. The cloud begins to evaporate. You start having a clearer perception of things. Colors get prettier. You start to see the glow, the translucency of things. And then you begin to think, oh, wow, yeah. You'll still be confused. I'm still confused. But it's like changing. I'm not in the world I thought I was in. We're in the context, the kingdom, the context of harmony. I like saying context of harmony now because kingdom of heaven, I like that too, but still it has a lot of, people wince a lot. But we're in the middle of a context. Something's going on. And as it turns out, it's a movement of harmony, of interconnectedness, always moving and changing. And so be able to crack the code on different words and like come up with different ways of saying the same thing. You're in the kingdom of heaven, the context of harmony. You're a child of God. You had nothing to do with the fact that you exist. God is love, and therefore so are you. Whoa. No matter how many bad things you've done in the past, still, your essential nature is love. And if you just sort of let yourself off the hook for all the bad things you've done in the past, you'll begin to feel it. And you didn't have to like do a whole bunch of good things in order to atone for all the bad things. You just had to let yourself off the hook in the new now that you find yourself in. And just instantaneously it begins to reconfigure into what it's actually been the whole time. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to say. Practice the holy instant.
Sure.